All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Matthew. I am the showrunner, mechanic, know-it-all, whatever the heck does things. I'm 24 years old, currently living in Arizona. New part, actually, as of this video. This is the first time I've ever filmed in this area, so... But yeah, I'm super happy that you guys are here. If you are a longtime supporter, love you, appreciate you. I know who you guys are, so it is. And for the people that I don't know in my life, but they're still supporters, seriously, it's super cool, and I'm really happy to have you along for the journey. And I hope that I have some either wisdom, or I hope that I have some wisdom, or something valuable from these videos that you can take. So yeah, appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, so to the video. So I've been a terrible keeper of my word when it comes to YouTube. I'm just part of me thinks, and part of me wants to self-sabotage here and say that I'm not built for content creation and routinely putting out stuff and kind of keeping people engaged and whatnot. But the other part of it is me thinking I still have people to update, and I can't be going bad on my word here. So I want to make sure that you guys are up to date on the stuff that I'm doing, because I said I would. So with the Mustang, guys, this is a 1972 Ford Mustang 302 C4. We're not, so okay, we have a lot of small details to talk about here, okay? First of all, as of right now, it is May. I'm filming this in May, all right, this video, early May. And I've moved into this new place about 2 months ago, and absolutely nothing's gotten done. That's the progress report. I'm going to put in this video like a lot of time lapse and stuff like that of stuff that I had been doing, which includes me chopping the exhaust to remove it out without taking out the rear, and then cleaning up everything, deep cleaning the engine bay, what else, power washing the entire, what's it called, driveway and stuff like that, just a bunch of stuff like that, and some random really cool videos that I found that I wanted to kind of put in there so you guys can see things from my perspective. And yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoy those things while I kind of yap on a little bit. That won't be happening until maybe a couple minutes, because want to have some FaceTime with you guys. What can I say? Anyway, so all my stuff is right over here. It hasn't been touched. This is very much storage. I have been struggling, to say the least, to get anything done, unfortunately, because there's some constraints with my job, all this stuff. And I'm not sure if I told you guys this. Let me see what time we're at. Okay, so I think I'm gonna kind of give you the straightforward story and not kind of give you a whole bunch of fluff here, okay? So back in December 22nd, I think, is when I dropped off my engine block, okay? I drop it off at this place. I expect work to be done. Old timers, okay? So I will not push them. They get it done on their own time. I have no problem if they take a month or two. That's not a great timeline, but, I'm not worried about it. They're good for their word. They've been doing it for a long time. Have at it. Within those 2 months, nothing had happened. And unfortunately, the most recent time that I went to go check in on it, which was probably right around the time that I actually moved into this new place, they were shutting down. So nothing was measured, nothing was decked. It was just, my engine block sat in jail for about 3 months, unfortunately. So really stinks, and it prevented me from getting it here on its own accord rather than being towed. Now, thankfully, I do have AAA, so, kind of got that solved, but it really stunk, and it was kind of like a huge letdown, I would say, because that was kind of the timeline I gave myself. Now, moving forward, this is the plan. So I am going to, I've found a new place to go take it, and I'm going to see what they're all about. I need to kind of verify that they know what they're doing. I know that they do. I have a friend who works there, a new friend actually, and I'm looking forward to dropping that off and having them do it. Now, here's what needs to happen with that block, okay? There is a kind of a divot in the metal on the surface where the head gasket would go on top of, okay? And that's not good. So we're gonna have them machine that out. So what that means is essentially just kind of shave off a certain thickness, like we're talking very thin level of thickness down to, point, 10 over, or I guess 10 under, whatever. Removing just shaving a hair off of that top, okay? Just enough to get it level, perfectly level to a machine's capability, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole deal there. And once we have those measurements, and I'd be able to figure out what my compression ratio is going to be, and then move along well with the rebuild. So I'm really excited about that. That needs to be done probably today, I would say. I'd probably go take care of it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. In other news, this is the part that really stinks, but my compressor is the next point of pain because the outlet here is not designed to handle the amount of power that is needed for the wiring that I have. So essentially it means that they're just taking up space, which really sucks. And I have a new motor for it and everything, so what are you gonna do, man? What it means is that I need to figure out a solution that would maybe involve the landlord considering upgrading that spot. So yeah, the air compressor, that's just a pain point right there, and it's just taking up space. So I won't be able to do anything about that. I also have a pool table over there that's disassembled that I'll be listing on Facebook Marketplace because I don't have any use for it anymore, and I never really did. I did get it for a good deal, but unfortunately we're not in the situation where I can hold on to it and it makes sense, and it also blows a lot of time. So in the interest of saving time and making some money, oh well, it's just one of those things in reality. I'll find one later, but I prefer it to be working as much as I can now, so that way I can kind of, build my wealth. So now that you know the current situation here and current updates, so now that leads me to tell you about this. So I still have a butt ton of freaking, stuff for you guys to see. So the video that you guys are seeing is me power washing, cleaning stuff, and then the fun part, which is porting, and I've made some headway on those things, and I've also done a little bit with the exhaust, and I've done a lot more research on the kind of things that I need to be doing, which is figuring out the cam specs. So I revised and reviewed would be the right term, reviewed the specs and all that stuff that I was going and targeting, and I realized I was confusing or really mistaking one thing, which was the LSA times 2 in our case would be 214, and then you add on the overlap and that would get you the duration. Now unfortunately I was inserting duration at 50, which was completely changing my numbers for the duration in general, which meant that I would have gotten this super cam that would have legitimately blown up my engine if I put it in there. Then I wasn't understanding what I was doing wrong, and it took me literally probably a couple months to figure that out, because to be fair, in my defense, I wasn't exactly straight and it wasn't in a straight shot. I just kind of did all the stuff then and there, and then didn't look at it for a while, and then went back to it. So once I went back to it, when reviewed it, I was like, wait a minute, I made a critical error. And I'm so glad that I don't like purchasing stuff unless I'm for sure knowledgeable and can completely trust that judgment. So I went over that stuff again, and I figured out what camshaft I'll be getting, and I can actually officially tell you guys which one I'll be buying. Now, this is all tentative, okay? This has got to be the closest I've ever been to having an actual lock on which camshaft I'll be purchasing. And I will actually be buying a whole bunch of other components as well, but we're gonna kind of gloss over that fact. Is going to be Howard's 220041-08 camshaft. Now this is for Ford, obviously. It's the lift on this thing is going to be 475, intake and exhaust at the stock rocker, so I'm not changing those things out. And then I'm going to be at 221 for the duration at 50, and advertised duration is going to be 275. RPM range is going to be 1,700 to about 5,700. So I'm not going crazy, okay? And the LSA is 108. Now, hear me out. The LSA target was 107, and that would be for extreme performance. Now, to be fair, if I had changed if I have to deck the block even more, that's going to change the compression ratio, and that will also change my LSA, which very well could change my camshaft recommendation. So we will see what it's going to be. But 108, I'm not really going to be, I'm not going to be killing this engine for power. This is going to give me a heck of a lot. And in fact, the rated, I'm gonna give you some stats here, okay? So based off of my camshaft and a bunch of the other things that I've done with this car, and maybe one or two potential upgrades after that, this thing will be turning out roughly 300 to 320 horsepower at the crank, and that is pretty stinking cool. I gotta tell you, this is going to be making roughly double the amount of horsepower this thing came out with at the factory. So not it's not the biggest feat in the world, but for me as a first time engine builder, this is quite nice. And this is all being done without changing the transmission or rear end or what else, converter. So all of the math that's ever been done with this thing can check out and not mess with any of the components. Now, I will be putting a shift kit on that C4 transmission, and it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and I'm really excited about it. However, with the oh my goodness, like with the horsepower that we're getting out of it, this is going to wake it up. This is exactly what we want. So I'm really excited about it. I don't know why I'm talking about it, but so that is where I'm at, folks. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be actually putting out some more videos very soon. This video that you guys are currently witnessing was filmed all pretty much before 2025, so probably December or November. And yeah, it's been quite a journey to get here. We are starting to pick up a little bit more with, how much work I'm doing and all that good stuff. But I should mention that I am starting to go to the gym again, and I am actively looking for a different job. So things are about to change yet again, but that's just life, and unfortunately you gotta take care of your responsibilities before you're able to have fun. So as with most things, that's kind of how it is. So we're trying to enjoy this while we have it. So did I miss the point? Absolutely. So just gonna work hard and keep going at it, and try to get as much rest as possible. The next video that is coming out is pretty awesome. This one's actually probably going to be a how-to or a tutorial, or just observe. It's going to be me removing the suspension on the left-hand side, driver's side of the car for a 1972 Mustang. So I will have that all titled, and it's going to be super fun and awesome. And you also get to see the condition of this thing, and I'll be yapping over it. So it'll be plenty of fun, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. And that one was probably filmed right at the end of the year, so we're gonna catch up, and this will force me to actually start posting more. So looking forward to that. Oh, also, I've been a terrible human being. I haven't opened this up to anyone on Instagram yet. I haven't opened the floodgates yet, and I am still figuring out how I want to do that. I will probably end up filming that video soon, so that way I can kind of usher in my other friends and family really to see what I'm up to, because I really haven't updated that thing in so long. I really just, go on it for the reels, the absolutely horrible reels that I love. But yeah, that's just life. So yeah, I hope you guys take care. I'm excited for the future here. I'm a little bit tired, but who isn't? And yeah, that's where we're at. I had this idea of setting up a TikTok and kind of posting it, some things from here to there, or maybe just my life in general. I mean, I have no idea. I live a kind of an interesting life, but I don't necessarily know how I'd approach all the filming, because I just think it's kind of weird to film your life and have to set up a tripod and whatever. Like, I've never seen myself as that person, but then again, I've also never been the person to have a YouTube in general, so I don't know. I just, it's just weird. I would have to get over some humps. Like, maybe, I know it's not social anxiety, because I will talk to anyone. Maybe I feel like it's a little conceited or a little too self-absorbed in that kind of ballpark when it comes to people just setting up a tripod wherever they go and filming something. Like, you will never see me, put a tripod on the corner of a street and me just walk down past it and just use that as a clip. Like, that's got to be the most embarrassing, gut-wrenching thing ever. That just sounds terrible. I'd absolutely not. Like, could you imagine? Like, there are some videos out there, you guys, that you have seen where it's like, could you imagine what that other person on the other end of that phone is thinking? It's like, man, what a world. But anyways, I'm just 60 and divorced, and I love my rock music, so maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm not with the times or whatever, so we'll just kind of see how that goes. And no offense to anyone who does, I just couldn't see myself doing that. If you're comfortable doing that, whatever, go for it. I don't really care. It's just something that makes my skin crawl if I were to do it myself, like a selfie. You see girls taking selfies, like, it's like secondhand nature. They just stop and take a photo, and they're just bam, just like that, ready to go, post it on Instagram or on whatever the heck, and it's just there forever. And you're like, wow, how did you know to do that so well? I can't do that. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. Bye.